Welcome to St. Augustine this evening, the Mike Davis Show, where we just had the best last 10 seconds of show prep ever. Ever. Everyone was laughing. It was very good. I can't repeat it, but everyone was laughing. So welcome to Monday's show. We have an amazing guest for you. We have an amazing guest host who's doing, as always, double duty, triple duty, quadruple duty. Is this the 17th show of the day, Davey?
I do it for the children of St. John's County.
Double duty, Davey.
This is the standard. Yes, I'm just kidding. I'm so happy to be here.
He's referring to you, Barbara Jean. Referring to you as the children. Let's make some money for this show so I can pay Davey, because Davey likes to get paid.
God bless America.
All right, A to Z, they offer free estimates. And they've been serving St. Johns County for over 20 years. A to Z Roofing and Waterproofing offers painted metal roofs for saltwater area homes with warranties up to 25 years. And they can put a shingle roof on your house with warranties up to 50 years. A to Z also installs tile roofing, cedar shake shingles, designer roofing, and flat roof coverings. Go to their website, A to Z Roofing and Waterproofing.com. You can see all kinds of recent pictures with material descriptions. Better yet, just call Chuck McCone and his staff, 904-669-8037, A to Z Roofing and Waterproofing.
Mm-hmm. The team at South State Bank is a group of bankers you can count on. Their approach to building long-term relationships with their customers is the best in the business. If you're looking for a banking relationship you can depend on, check out South State Bank. They've got 3 locations to serve you in St. Augustine: State Road 312, State Road 16, or the Beach. You can also visit their website, southstatebank.com. They are a member FDIC.
And from Carnegie Hall to St. Augustine, a musical experience like no other. Are you ready to witness a world-class orchestra right here in the heart of historic St. Augustine? Well, Amanda, on Sunday, January 19th at 2 o'clock p.m., the prestigious Czech Philharmonic will be here, bringing its breathtaking artistry to Lewis Auditorium at Flagler College. Of course, we know that's on 14 Granada Street. Described by one of Mike Davis's favorite newspapers of all time, the New York Times, as a dignified, impeccably balanced orchestra. It's not just a performance, it's a journey through the soul of Czech musical heritage led by the extraordinary Simon Butchkov, which wowed audiences, Amanda, how dare, at Carnegie Hall, performing Dvorak's concertos and so much more. Now they're ready to captivate us here right in Florida. Check out emmaconcerts.com. They do so many great things for music artists and students over at Flagler College. It's an incredible organization. Get your tickets, are now on sale. And let's just go check out the Czech Philharmonic on January 19th. Sounds like a fun time.
Absolutely.
I cannot wait for you to continue to read that, because there's multiple things in there. And I
There's a lot of
love
layers.
Emma Concerts, right? But there's multiple things in there that could be said. One, I know that you don't know this about the New York Times.
I do. I was waiting for it. I knew this was a setup.
You know, I worked for the New York Times.
No, I did not.
See? I worked for the New York Times.
Do you still have swag? Do you have anything?
Yes.
Like a pen?
I have nothing.
A staff t-shirt?
No, I didn't. So I worked for the Lakeland Ledger in 1986,
How cool.
which was owned by the New York Times.
Wow.
And that was the beginning of their downfall. They hired me. It's been downhill for them ever since. But yes, I covered sports stories.
It's important to
I
know
never
the story.
covered a swimming meet, though.
Nothing?
No, they never sent me to those.
Always
You guys were
I know.
underappreciated.
We're only
Always.
appreciated during the Olympics.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then every other time they could care less. Yeah. And my
Exactly.
events were way too long to be on TV anyway. So.
Yeah. Distance.
Yes.
Distance.
Yes.
All right. Moultrie Creek Diner, the Anastasia Diner. First of all, thank you for those guys for collecting toys for Tots.
Yes.
Oh,
They had
yeah.
a huge
Amazing.
bin over there.
Very
Andy and
nice.
Cheryl and all the rest of the staff. Amazing job at getting that done. But these neighborhood diners are more than just a place to eat. They are where hospitality blooms and friends gather. Bring your own friends or make new ones. Dave, you could even make a new friend.
That would be
I
great.
know how hard that is.
I always have room for new friends.
The coffee is always hot, the smiles are genuine, and the food tastes like home. Every meal is a chance to make memories, share stories, and create bonds that last a lifetime. It's not just about the food on the plate, but the community that comes together at the table or fundraising for kids for Christmas. Come see us at Moultrie Creek Diner, Anastasia Diner. Tell them Andy sent you. Tell them Go Dogs if you want a discount.
That's awesome.
I have one question before we introduce our guest.
Oh, Lordy.
How many
Mm-hmm.
blue tigers gave their lives for you to have that jacket, sweater, fuzzy
Oh, this
thing
is a
on.
cardigan and only one. My Aunt Sandy. She left it for me. It's so
I
nice.
just want to know how blue tigers are so rare.
Yeah,
You're wearing 3 of them
Isn't
right
that great?
here.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
gorgeous.
It's
Yeah.
exotic piece.
It is.
Brings
Rag
out
and
the
bone.
highlights in your nails.
Right. Thank you very much.
Rag and bone.
So here we go.
We do. I appreciate you coming in today.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Yes.
Well, that's not exactly.
It is true. You guys know I love being here.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
This is my home away from home.
You get it 2 days in a row. This is like we're doing a regular show together. You actually yelled at me.
Training for 2025?
You actually looked at me and you're like, do you have your sheet? I'm like, I'm not Pete Melfi. Yes, I have my sheet. I have everything you sent me.
So organized.
About our guest.
I'm very proud of you. Very good.
Ah.
What an honor.
Would you like to introduce our guest?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have the world famous Teresa Andrews from Epic Behavioral Healthcare going to be talking to us about mobile response team today, right, Teresa?
That's right.
So talk to us a little bit about what the mobile response team is all about.
I'm happy to, because unfortunately this is the time of year while fun and exciting and everyone's happy. Not everyone's happy,
Yeah,
right? There's a lot going on,
There's stress.
and we have this year round. But really, we're so grateful that you let us come on and talk about it, because we wanted to make sure people knew that in this time, when people may not feel so great, that there are resources.
Mhm.
And so we have several things that we do for crisis response. So we have our mobile response team, which is 24/7. It's for folks who are 26 and older, because St. Augustine Youth Services does the mobile response team for younger.
Okay.
But if someone is having a crisis, the mobile response team goes to where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Can you define crisis? Is it sort of like a panic attack, or is it like a mental breakdown? Like, what does this look like? When do you gauge a level of crisis?
Can I answer that?
Okay.
Looks like Davey packing the day before the show.
Oh, you
That
guys.
is a crisis.
That's a major crisis right now. You guys, I've overpacked. This is a major crisis. But honestly, no. What does a crisis look like, and how do you gauge the level to make that call?
Right. So really, in our opinion, crisis is self-defined. And if you are in a crisis that is impeding your ability to function, if you are worried that if it progresses, you might hurt yourself, you might hurt somebody else, if the folks around you cannot de-escalate you and bring you down, and they're worried about kind of a big explosion, that would be the time to call the mobile crisis response team, especially if you're worried about your safety.
Right. Yeah.
So safety is a big part of it. So with the mobile response team, the way that you get the mobile response team to come to you is by either calling 988, which is the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, but they also do like triage for mobile response teams across the country. So someone could call 988 and explain what's going on, and they will kind of help determine is this a safe environment for the counselor to go to. And then they will reach out to the mobile crisis response team and give them the information. Or you can call 911 and they will do the same thing.
So how long has 988 been around?
So the National Suicide Hotline has been around for a long time.
Mhm.
We used to have kind of a regular long number. And I think last summer, around July, was like the year anniversary of 988. It's very exciting because it's nationwide.
Mhm.
So it's a lot easier number to remember than the old number, although the old number still works. But if you just dial 988, you get hooked up with the National Crisis Line. And you don't have to be suicidal to call. You can also just be in a crisis. But sometimes you're like, oh, I just really wish I could talk to someone, but I'm not suicidal. I don't know who to call. Well, you can call.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So it doesn't really matter of like the gauge of crisis. If you feel like you're off balance or something's not working, then that's the time to call.
Yeah, and they'll talk to you, and they may feel like, well, probably the response team is not the appropriate response for you where you are right now, but let's talk about other things that are available.
I love that because it is such a question in a cloud of like, I don't want to inconvenience somebody, but I don't know what's going on with me at the same time. So having that option is awesome.
How many times do you usually have to make contact with somebody before they like accept services or are willing to go deeper into dealing with their problems?
By the time someone makes that call,
Mm-hmm.
it usually happens.
Okay.
Because that's the hardest part,
Mm-hmm.
making that call. I don't want to bother anybody, like Davey just said, or the people around them are like, would you please just get your act together, which is not the right response, by the way. But, people around them might be, and then they realize they can't. There's so much going on that they can't. So the mobile response team might be part of what happens. We also have a co-responder program, which is where we have a clinician that rides around with one of the deputies from St. Johns County Sheriff's Office.
Mm.
And if they get a mental health related call, our clinician will go with the sheriff's officer. And that is really great because a lot of times they're being called out, like if someone is actively threatening suicide or someone may have a weapon or anything like that. And so a lot of times that will end up in a Baker Act, which is when someone is involuntarily committed. But when our clinician goes and the officer has also received additional training, we have been able to divert from Baker Acts a really high percentage. Don't ask me the actual numbers, I don't have it with me, but we have actually been able to divert from Baker Acts a high percentage of the time, which, keeps the system from getting clogged up. It's, more, Baker Acts are important. They keep people safe, but sometimes if someone can just be talked with, and they might not be suicidal right then and might be willing to do other things. And so that helps kind of make it a little bit of a smoother flow for that person and doesn't disrupt their life as much.
And speaking of flow, like how fast is the flow when somebody calls the number? Like, what does that response look like, and how is that something you guys prioritize? Is the quickness of the response?
Yeah, well, like with the co-responder team, that's someone calling 911 and they're being like an immediate safety need, so that's immediate. 911 responds immediately. And if someone calls 988 and the triage is done and they feel like yes, the team needs to go out and see them, we have a goal of getting to someone within 60 minutes.
Wow. Okay, gotcha.
So how long have you been riding with the St. Johns County Sheriff's Department?
So our co-responder, I think, has been riding with the Sheriff's Office for a little over a year now.
A little over.
And we're looking at expanding it, too, so that there's more.
Oh,
so
okay.
Are you seeing that's helping to de-escalate situation? I mean, you mentioned about the extra training. First, I think our police officers already have enough that they have to deal with, right? And so much of it is life and safety. And when they show up to a situation that's a mental health crisis, that's not what they became a sheriff's deputy for.
Right.
So having somebody riding with them who became a clinician to deal with that, I think is awesome.
Yeah. And a lot of our officers, though, do go through CIT training, crisis intervention training, so that they can at least have that conversation with someone in maybe a more empathetic way. Understand, they get a little bit more understanding about why someone might be reacting to them the way they are. So that's very helpful. So there's that. And then the third thing that we do to help with crisis is we have a walk-in center that's open during the day.
Is that access center? Okay.
It's the access center. So Monday through Thursday, it's open at our North Campus, which is off of Lewis Speedway, kind of across from the jail. And you just show up. You don't have to have an appointment. You can be any age.
God bless. Yeah.
And then on Friday, we have our counselors that work with that. They go to our Flagler County office. So they're there in Bunnell on Friday. And they're at our Northwest office, which is up off of County Road 210.
And I don't think people understand. A lot of people think, well, this is it's a pretty well-off county, but mental health issues go all across the spectrum from people that are low income all the way to people that have, you look at it and go, they have everything,
right?
But they don't have peace of mind.
Right.
So you're needed everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be harder to ask for help if you're expected to have your act together. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. That expectation. Yeah. It's the truth.
I'm looking at you.
You
It's
should.
okay to ask for help, Davey.
I do ask for
I know
help.
you have it all together.
But nobody can help. I mean, except now I know the mobile response team is here. No, honestly though, Teresa, like, what are you guys doing to I'm thinking of you remember when we grew up, what did we have? The DARE program?
Yeah.
We had those kind of initiatives in school. Is there any kind of mental health, awareness initiative going into the schools so that young people can understand this too?
So there are. So after, there's one, and I don't know all the details. So I'm just going to tell you kind of broad base.
Yeah.
But after one of the shooting down in South Florida, there was a lot of money appropriated by this legislature to increase mental health in schools.
Okay.
So the schools themselves are doing more to focus on mental health, but then they partner with us or with Brave. And so when there's a crisis in the school,
Right.
or St. Augustine Youth Services, their mobile crisis response team can go to the school because that's the age they serve. So there's that partnership and that kind of that safety net that we're trying to create for kids, so that if they're having a crisis in the school, that they get connected and the parents get brought in too. And sometimes parents are like, no, they're all right, but sometimes parents just don't know.
Right.
So we can explain to them, well, when children act this way and this is going on, sometimes this is what this means.
And maybe sometimes kids show two faces, one to mom and dad,
Yeah.
and then another to their friends and stuff. So that, it really does kind of bring that.
Yeah.
Well, the
That's
hardest
right.
thing raising kids today, if you look at traits of a teenager, and then you would go look at, because we had 4 kids, and you looked at the traits of someone that was dealing with a mental health issue, they're the same. They're the
Yeah,
exact
it's the
same
same
traits.
list.
Right? You're looking at go, well, wait a minute, is that just regular teenage behavior, or is there something deeper there?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at the list, you go, it's the same things.
Mhm.
Right. It is hard. So it takes a lot of communication, really observing, watching, keeping an eye on things, looking for those switches in behaviors, especially like withdrawing from things that they used to really, really like to do that really brought them joy, that was really important to them. And all of a sudden they're not, and kind of notice that they're isolating themselves and just not, they're just different. And yes, that does happen with teenagedom, but when it kind of continues and then there have been other things going on, those are things that really want to make you go, I think I need to check into this.
Yeah.
Check on them.
So what does the access center look like? Like I enter the door. What can I expect?
So you enter the door and you're greeted and you tell them, I just need to talk to someone. So they say, okay, we'll have to fill out some paperwork. And then you see a counselor.
Okay.
And the
Do I
counselor
have to bring
kind of
ID,
does,
anything like that, or?
that never hurts to have.
Yeah, I mean, sure, right? Yeah.
So, they talk to you and it's kind of like an assessment. What's going on? Tell me what's going on, Davey. How have you, how long have you been feeling this way? What are you thinking? And then it's kind of like, well, maybe seeing a counselor several times might be really good. Or maybe we need to call and maybe we do need to have you corrected. Or maybe we need to do this. So it kind of helps you figure out what the best next step is for you.
Yeah.
And what's the cost associated with all this? Because
Good
I know at
question.
this time of year, money's tight. You might be
Right.
struggling, but like if it's between talking to a counselor or getting your kid that Christmas gift, then it's probably going to be the Christmas gift for the
Right.
kid. So what kind of costs associated with this?
So we never turn anyone away for lack of ability to pay,
Okay.
but we do have to pay our staff. We have
Yeah.
to pay, light bill and all that kind of stuff. So we do, as part of the assessment, we'll talk to someone about their income. Do you have insurance? Does your
Mhm.
insurance cover mental health? Can we bill them for you? We work on sliding scale. So no, I lost my job and I got the Christmas and this
Mhm.
and that. Okay, well, that's okay.
Yeah.
We'll work it out. So it can go in several different directions,
Mhm.
but it doesn't go, well, you don't have any money, get out. We would
Yeah.
never, ever say that.
Oh, that's
That's
great.
amazing.
I know that's a big stress for people, especially this time period. Yeah.
Oh, I think that adds a tremendous amount of stress to
Yeah.
people. I mean, trying to manage the money and end of the year, and you have all these additional bills that you have anyway, and then you have all of this cost that you're trying to get your kids the best gifts and all the
Right.
things that you can, and then you're trying to do everything for everybody, and I think that's whenever, to me, when I see people breaking down, having the hardest time, is when you throw more stuff on them than what they
Yeah.
can handle.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
and this
Yeah.
year, this season has a lot of that
Right.
that goes on.
It does.
With the added stress of it's the happiest time of year, be jolly. Put on a smile, run through the whole party gamut, the whole like put on the show, make sure you're greeting everybody great. You've got to hide what you're going through because you can't like poo poo on everybody else's Christmas.
Right. You got to bottle it
Like
up.
there's so much pressure at this time of year to not only have it together, but also to be the puppet master of joy for all the people in
Yeah.
your life
Yeah.
that you love and that love you. And so it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with.
Yeah, when you think about the holiday stress and you think about people feeling lonely and they're seeing all the commercials of people gathering and feeling like they don't have that, and maybe someone has lost someone and this
Yeah.
is their first Christmas, and that can be really
That's
hard.
a major one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
even just this disruption to your routine. I mean, that
Mhm.
seems like so what? But yeah, I mean, if you have a routine and that's part of what helps you maintain your mental health, and all
Yeah.
of a sudden, it's kind of thrown out the window. So, so what we encourage people to do is things like try to set realistic expectations going in. If I don't have all the 500 cookies I want to have, is that really going to be a problem? Probably not.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that's really going to notice. And
Mm-hmm.
try to maintain your healthy habits and try and get that support. Talk to people. They're probably feeling the same way. And if you share like, I really wished I didn't have this other Christmas party to go to. Oh, I'm so glad you said that out loud. I'm feeling the same way. And then
Yeah.
there's that, okay, kind of shared support there for a minute.
It's something we talk about on the bike with me, at least. We talk about the power of no thank you. And I add the word thank you in there because I think it's important, because I think because we're, there is a graciousness to it,
Mhm.
but it is a very powerful thing, and it's owning your peace, and it's owning,
Yeah.
where you are in life, and saying no thank you to things, especially like those extra parties or those,
Mhm.
those extra things. That's okay to say. And I want people to know that. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like we feel so overwhelmed that we have to try to hit that glass ceiling of perfection, but you can't let just being good be the enemy of perfection. It's just not the way we're built. We have to plant seeds and grow in life, and you're not going to hit it out of the park every single holiday.
Yeah, and understanding that's part of your self-care.
Right.
Sometimes people kind of roll their eyes at the term self-care, but really it is just taking care of yourself.
Right.
And helping yourself feel comfortable. And, in some of our trainings, we use the whole thing about the airline. When the thing comes down, what do they tell you?
Take care of yourself first.
Yeah.
Because you can't help anyone else if you're struggling or just feeling yourself sinking.
So, Mr. Davis, you come from an era in which mental health really was kind of poo-pooed at a time. You know what I mean? Like, going to the therapist was like, ugh, you know what I mean? Like, can you highlight that, and can you talk about the change?
Talk to us, Grandpa Time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Father Time would like a word.
That was so nice.
I'm so grateful that I'm the oldest one in the room. Seasoned. So yeah, as we've talked about this, right, in the care and the understanding and kind of recognizing that, when I was a kid, my line that I heard all the time from my mom was "Get tough." Right, you just worked your way through.
Troy
that.
said, "Suck it up, Buttercup."
Suck it up, Buttercup. We grew up. I grew up in a generation where that's kind of how you handled things, and you didn't really talk about a lot of stuff. I've always had friends. I've been blessed to be able to talk about things. Yeah. But I've had other friends that I've watched struggle with that.
Yeah.
I've had friends that I've had to look at them and go, "Why are you the meanest person to you that I know?"
Right.
I mean, why are you so mean to you? I mean, nobody else is as mean to you as you are.
Yeah.
Could you give yourself a break? And those friends look at me and they go, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, think about, you missed a shot in basketball." I thought, yeah, it was the game winner in the championship. But, you were mad at yourself more than we were.
Everything happens for a reason.
We were over it.
Everything
it was
happens
never
for a
a game
reason.
winner. But I mean, it was just, people that you had, I had a lot of friends that tended towards perfectionism. You're like, you guys got to lighten up. And you're not always, as Davey said, you're not always going to be perfect. It's not always going to be the best. But it's the best you could do. And your friends still love you just for being you. And it's stop putting that additional pressure on yourself.
Totally agree.
Now, that's all stuff having learned afterwards. But when I was a kid, if you talked about any of that, there was a famous line in Crocodile Dundee, right? It came out in 1986. And Mick Dundee tells his girlfriend, Linda Kowalski or whatever, it's like, yeah, that guy's crazy. He's in therapy. And she says, Mick, everybody in New York's in therapy. Isn't everybody in Australia in therapy? No one in Australia is in therapy. He says, well, why not? Well, if you have a problem, you go tell Walt. Walt tells everybody in the town, no more problem. Right? So they had therapy. It was just a different version of it, right?
Yeah.
But some of that is, I had a really good friend who did a lot of counseling for a long, long time. And he said, the problem is that people, as you get older, you keep putting things in this sack that you're carrying over your shoulder. And one day you pick up the smallest problem. And because you haven't emptied out the sack for 20 years or 30 years or 50 years, however long you've been carrying this weight, you put that little thing in there and then it all just comes apart. That was the one thing, rather than every once in a while sit down, take the things out of the bag and go, yeah, that's not that important. Why am I carrying that? I need to let that go. I shouldn't be worried about that.
Carry that extra baggage. Yeah. It's too much. You don't have to carry that, right?
Yeah.
So that's Father Times.
Yeah. A guilt trip is not a trip I'm going on. Thank you. Yes.
No.
Well, you kind of reminded me of something that I say to my kids. I've got teens and
tweens
and tweens, and so when my teens are trash talking themselves, or even my little, just talking about how they're terrible at this or they're terrible at that, I just look at them and I'm like, don't talk about my kid that way.
Mm-hmm.
You can't talk about my kid that way. My kid's amazing. My kid's smart.
And
my
what's
kid
the
is capable.
response to that?
The first time I ever said it, it was like a shocked silence, because
I think if my mom ever
what?
said, I'd be shocked.
And I was just like, no, you are talking about my child that I love, who is intelligent and who is capable and who is fully supported. And if they don't feel supported, they can be, let's do this together, but don't talk about my kid that way.
Yeah.
And
that's
a
pretty great angle. I never thought of that.
Moment.
Yeah.
The first time I said it. Yeah.
That's a great one. Mine is a similar one. Coaching basketball, I was coaching with a very good friend of mine, and both our sons were playing on the team, and his son was the point guard at the time in the basketball game. I know you're a huge basketball player, but he was playing and he did something wrong, and so my assistant coach, his dad, starts to say something to him, and I said, "Don't ever talk to my point guard. That's my point guard. I'm the head coach. I will talk to my point guard." you can talk to your son after the game. But I said, right now, he's my point guard, and you're not allowed to
Yeah,
yell at
that's
him.
a good call.
I said, that's mine. And then we had another one where there was a bunch of us coaching
Susan had to get
together.
checked a couple times too. Yeah, sorry, she went on that national team circuit, baby.
Yep.
Well, when I would tell all the other guys, there's 4 or 5 of us coaching on a team, and I said, look, why don't we quit coaching our own kid? If you want me to say something to your son, I will, because he'll probably take it better from me than he will from you as a dad. And if I want something said to my son, I'll pick one of the 4 of you, and you guys can go tell him. And so we all kind of did that, and we got along with our children a whole lot better because it wasn't just us trying to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what kind of like calls are you getting more over the holidays now?
The overwhelming stress leading to anxiety and then feeling depressed that they can't live up to what they are seeing
Hallmark.
on TV.
Yeah.
Hallmark. So that's a big part of it. And
That's why I never watch Hallmark. It's too much pressure.
Really?
It's too much pressure.
It
That's
is a
the
lot.
only reason. The only
is a
reason
lot.
he doesn't
Yeah.
watch Hallmark.
What about like loneliness and isolation? Is that something also that should be highlighted?
definitely.
What does that look like? Like, I love to be alone. Like, it's my favorite. Like, my reset, my
Yeah.
recharge.
Yep. And there is a difference between taking that time to kind of, refill
Yeah.
inside. But then there's that, like, I wish I could talk to someone, but I don't know who I would talk to, and feeling like everyone over here at the party, or I am at the party, and everyone's having such a great time, but I'm not, and you're kind of faking it, and you realize you're faking it. And so that just feels really alone when you are with other people
Yeah.
and you're not connecting.
Yeah.
You're not
Peopling.
peopling.
Yeah.
And so, and then you start thinking, well, what's wrong with me? And
Mhm.
why am I this way? And why is everyone else having a good time? And you start having that language for yourself, tearing yourself down. And then also seeing that, the beautiful stuff on TV and the families, and they're all
And that's
getting
sort of a
along.
catalyst of spinning out of
Yeah,
control. I can
yeah.
see that now. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
And I think you mentioned it earlier, Teresa, about people that have just lost someone,
Mhm.
right? And looking out for them during the holiday season and making sure that they feel like they're included and they have family and that people care about them, and whether they want to be by themselves and say, no, I've got this, or they're like, yeah, I really would like to come to some event that you're doing just because I want to be around people
Right.
because my person or people aren't here this year.
Right.
So
Especially people that have been through it too.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, I lost my partner, so it's
Yeah.
no secret, but it's also awesome to be around other people that have gone through that sort of battle.
Yeah.
They're like war buddies, like an
Yeah.
unspoken war buddy.
Yeah.
Are there support groups out there that actually could be a good support thing?
I
for-
know that there are grief support groups, and so certainly,
Yeah.
that's a good time to call 211, which is our local referral
Okay.
information. But I think too that it's okay to talk about the people that we lost, and sometimes we're afraid to bring up people that we lost at the holidays. We don't want to be a downer on anyone, but when you start sharing memories and you start talking about,
Yeah.
oh well, my mom really loved Christmas because of this,
Yeah.
and that helps.
Yeah.
okay,
And it
you
also
know,
takes
they're-
the elephant out of the room.
Exactly.
Talk about the positive things. Talk about the light. Talk about the great memories that they have. Maybe an
Mhm.
ornament or something that you can tell
Yeah.
a story about. I think people just need these kind of clues in life,
Yeah.
or just try to have these kind of conversations
Right.
so they're not bottling them up.
I think
Or
they're more
say I'm
strategies.
sad. It's
They're
been 7
strategies,
years
yeah.
since my mom left, but
Mhm.
I'm feeling sad knowing that I'm going to go down to see my dad next weekend and she's not going to be there. So it's okay for me to say that out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm not like obsessing about it. I just said it out loud to you guys. Now I
Mhm.
can feel a little bit better about next week when I drive. I know my mom's not going to be there. She hasn't been there for 7 years, and it's okay that I'm still a little like,
I wonder why
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about it is important. If you really think about the psychology behind it, why do you think, Amanda, talking about some kind of crisis that you've survived or gone through is important?
Well, it's kind of tied with freedom of speech. If you don't have freedom of speech, you can't think, you can't process.
Right.
So it's the same thing. You're thinking, you're processing.
Your guilt and your shame, or you're
And-
going to be your jail. That you're living in. Yeah.
If you're not processing, if you're not thinking through it, then that is where that guilt and that shame is going to come into play, because you're not getting feedback from others that they're going through something similar.
Mhm.
I might look happy, but I'm suffering in this way, or this is really hard for me. So that's the only way that you realize not everyone's on easy mode.
Right.
Because when you're in a place of suffering and you're looking at all the smiling faces in the crowd and all of the people that are cheering and hugging and laughing, and you can't get there, then you're like, why is it so easy for them?
Right.
What is wrong with me that I can't get there?
Mm-hmm.
And that perspective, that skewed perspective, is where you can really get that guilt and that shame, and you feel so isolated.
Yeah.
So talking just helps you get that feedback from other people that they're going through it too. This isn't easy
Get
for
the vibe. Yeah.
I mean, and I posted something just recently that was in my memories that this is a hard time. This is a time of mourning for a lot of people. We just lost my grandmother. So this is a challenging Christmas season for my mom, for me, for everyone in the family, because that matriarch is gone.
Mhm.
Having that conversation is important.
Yeah.
It just is.
When I used to work on a suicide hotline, we used to talk about that when people called up and they often had been carrying, this around for a while and not feeling comfortable talking to someone, or maybe they got rebuffed or whatever. And it's like, it was all right here. And they couldn't see that maybe things might get better, or that, that tomorrow will be another day, that kind of thing. And we used to say, you got to let them wallow in it because it's built up. And so let them talk it out, and to get that validation. So like if someone's talking to you, like if someone's, hears this and they're like, oh, I heard that, can I tell you, you don't feel like you have to fix it. Don't feel like you have to solve it. Don't feel like you have to make them feel better, because that might not be possible, but just take it in.
What if the
Just
story's
listen.
overwhelming? What if it's such a big story that you don't know where to begin to talk to a counselor? You know what I mean? Like, what if it's such a big topic that where do you start talking about your grievance or your whatever you're airing out?
I think what the counselor will do is say, well, what happened this week?
Mm-hmm.
What happened this
Take it
week that
one
kind of
week
brought
or
these
one
feelings
day.
up? And then, oh, so that reminded you of something that happened then. Well, let's talk. So it's like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right?
Right, yeah.
So you just start with a little thing, and usually it's like, well, what did something happen in the last few days?
Mm-hmm.
Let's start there.
Yeah.
Let's start there, and then you kind of start.
Makes sense. Don't look at the whole staircase.
Yeah.
Take it one step
Yeah.
at a
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Got it.
Absolutely.
But for people who are listening is the biggest gift we can give somebody
Sure.
right now in this season. If someone comes to you, don't feel like you have to solve the problem. Just take it in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you're feeling that way. Tell me more about it. And just be that sounding board. That is so amazing
Yeah.
what that can do.
I used to think communication is the key in relationships, but it's not. It's comprehension. It really, truly is. And listening to somebody and really connecting with that person, whether it's a friend or, a partner, it really is taking it in and practicing empathy with everyone, because we all have our own journeys. You never know what anyone's going through. All we can do is pray and be compassionate and curious and kind.
Yeah.
So how can a loved one help somebody that's in crisis?
Well, certainly they can listen for sure. What's going on? Tell me what's going on. If they're like kind of falling apart, crisis, stay calm. Don't raise your voice. Just stay calm. Kind of be like a concrete post that person can hold on to, and just listen, take it in, be calm, listen. And if you feel like they're still spiraling, or you don't see them de-escalating, you say, I really think we need to get someone else involved. And can we call this crisis hotline together? Can I drive you to the access center? Can we call this other hotline and just talk to them together? And I'll be here with you. So they know they're not dealing with it by themselves, which is so, so important. So just being calm, just listening, kind of reflecting back. So when this happened, and so this is how you're feeling, I'm so glad that you're telling me this. I'm sorry you're feeling this way, but I'm so glad you're telling me this. I mean, you can just kind of keep repeating that as much, just to let them, get it out, because they want someone to
I think it's
listen.
hard for some families to really be calm. And I think that's, honestly, I come from like a hot fire Italian family, like that's how we showed love. So like, I really think it's important to really be mindful of your words and take your time in that conversation. Yep. There is an incredible scene that's in pop culture right now that's on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Laugh if you want to, that's fine. But the one of the sons came out to his mom and said, hey, I am an addict and I don't know where to start, where to begin. And her response was so beautiful. It's like, where can we go next together? How can we figure this journey out? And how can we get you feeling better about she never made him feel guilt. She never made him feel shame. It was incredible. Mary, I will send this link to you. You'll be impressed with it. But I think it's really important to be mindful of our words and not fly off the handle.
Right. Yeah.
Your first instinct might not be the right one as a parent. You've got to come and you got to look at the whole picture, widen your aperture, and see where you're going to get to, and you're going to get through it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And if you do fly off the handle, you can get over that. You can say, you know what? That probably wasn't very helpful, what I just did. It's just because I'm that worried and concerned about you.
Okay,
I'm going
good.
to try and focus and be how you need me to be. So if you just own it, you
Yeah.
can get past it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I had a mom whose daughter was experiencing abuse, and she had figured out that the daughter was experiencing abuse, but the daughter hadn't come to her yet. And just through a weird set of circumstances, she and I were friendly enough in that moment that she spoke to me about it. And the advice I gave her was to listen without reaction, because
How hard that has to be,
yeah,
though.
exactly. And that's what I told her. I was like, this is going to be probably the hardest thing I will ever ask you to do, or perhaps anyone will ask you to do. But if your daughter is terrified to talk to you about this, then you have to listen without a big reaction. If you have a big reaction, you're going to scare her and she's going to shut down.
Yeah.
And that was an incredibly hard conversation for her to have. But she came out after the conversation with her daughter. She came back to me and she thanked me for that challenge.
Gotta be so hard. I
to
can only
not
imagine.
have a big reaction,
Yeah.
because she's like, you're right, my daughter would have shut down and I wouldn't have learned what I needed to know. And that because that was such a safe interaction between the daughter and the mother, she was able to they were able to report, and they were able to go through the legal system, what they had to do. And so that was such an listening is just so important.
Saved her life.
It's so
Changed
important.
the paradigm of that whole trajectory.
Yeah,
I mean, that's amazing.
It's not your story. You're not allowed to react.
Yeah.
You have to listen. You have to take in.
So what else? What else is going on with Epic Behavioral Health Care? Is there anything exciting that's different in the different departments?
Well, we are just preparing for the holidays, and then in the new year, we do have some exciting things. Like, we are working on our second wind village, which is a whole village for sober living. We were able to procure, or we're in the process
Cool.
of procuring some property, and we're going to build 4 homes. And so we have second wind now, which is sober living. So sometimes when people get out of detox, get out of residential, are done with their treatment, there's not really a safe place for them to go.
Okay.
Right? There's going to be all their triggers. People are not going to be supportive
Right
of
on.
what
Yeah.
they're doing. So some people will come to our second wind and live in a sober living, and there's rules. They have to have a job. They have to pay their rent. They have, there's things they have to do. They have to get drug screened.
Nice.
But it teaches them to live independently and drug-free. So we want to build a new women's house, a new men's house, and a house for women with children.
Amazing.
So that women who are struggling with their addiction, but are on the right path, can have their kids with them as they learn to live.
I love that.
So that's really exciting. We're just in the beginning stages of that. Just like, we have a offer on the land, or we have a contract, but
Well, prayers
like
up.
baby
That's
steps.
what we're
Yeah,
going to do.
that's
We're going to
very
pray for that
exciting.
to happen.
Yeah.
How are the littles?
they're good. Tomorrow night we have our big holiday party for our littles in our program, in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program, which
Awesome.
is so much
I
fun.
love that. That's awesome.
Yep, they each get a gift. Santa's there. There's food. We also have gifts for the other siblings, even if they're not in our program. It's like the highlight of the year.
Yeah.
So we
That's
are
awesome.
so excited about that. And then we need volunteers. So if someone is
Oh,
thinking, in the new year, I think I should volunteer, you should volunteer with Big Brothers Big Sisters and come see what it's like to hang out with a kid. Is awesome.
That's
That's
fantastic.
awesome.
Very, very good. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here tonight. Again, Epic is just one of those gems in our county, and very glad
Yeah.
for everything that y'all are doing. And
Mhm.
and there's a lot of people that if you need help, call.
Yes.
That's all you got to do.
Just
Just
call.
give them a
Yeah.
call. Walk in. They will come see you at the mobile response as well. But just don't dwell in it. Deal with it.
Right.
Make a phone call. Let
Right.
somebody help.
There's
you
some beautiful comments out there too that we
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
made a difference tonight. So thank you, Teresa,
You
for
know,
being
just
here.
remember 988.
Yeah.
Remember 911.
Mhm.
Remember 829-2273 or 39. What's the address?
10
3910.
Lewis Speedway.
Yeah.
Thank you. 3910 Lewis Speedway, Suite 10010. See, I used to be over there, and now I moved to a
Oh
different
yeah, you
office.
guys are on the Moultrie office. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's right over there. We
It's
know
right
it.
over there. It's
yeah.
next door.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there it is.
That's where you walk in,
Yeah.
like 8 to 6, Monday through Thursday.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Well, thank you.
Thank
you.
y'all.
Merry
Thank
Christmas.
you.
Good.
Yes, Merry
Yeah.
Christmas
Merry
to all
Christmas.
of you. Thank you for letting me come in and talk. And don't think of it as a downer. It's good.
No,
it's
it's
good to have
enlightening.
this conversation.
Yeah.
No, we
And
need the
people
lifeline.
should not feel like they're alone if they're feeling this way,
Yeah.
because you're not.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right, we are going to do a sudden change of gears because that was a very important but a very serious topic.
Yes.
Yeah, but it was
So
good.
we're going to unleash Davey and let Davey just be Davey for the next 20
Great.
minutes.
We're going to do TikTok dances. That's ready? You ready to do the apple dance?
What is the apple dance?
You don't know it?
No.
Oh my gosh.
I'm very old and I don't TikTok. Yes.
I'll teach you. I'll teach you. It's very easy.
What's TikTok?
Well,
what
soon
a
to
clock
not
does.
be, right?
Probably
Well, we'll
not.
see.
You guys.
Donald Trump's going to take care of that.
This is something. I didn't think this was going to happen. I don't think it's going to. You think it's going to go away?
We'll see.
Talk about it.
I heard someone make the comment that the value is probably going to drop so much that it would be very affordable. So what if Elon Musk bought TikTok?
Oh, is he just going to buy everything? He might as well buy us a sandwich while he's at it. I mean,
he is, he's amazing.
did you guys really like him before this whole movement though?
I
didn't see you driving a Tesla. You know what I mean? Let's get real here. Did we just like him because of?
I don't drive an electric car because I'm one of the poor.
Yeah, me too.
And so, should I have enough money to have a bonus car, then it would probably be an electric car so I could run around without paying for gas, just doing errands. But I could never commit just to an electric car. I just don't have, when I need to go, I need to go.
Right.
I can't do this 3-hour chargy thing. I can't do that.
I have a buddy that drove his electric car over Thanksgiving all the way to New England.
Mm-hmm. How long that take?
It took him a while. It took him not that long. It wasn't that much longer than if he'd normally do. He's a very serious planner. So he had it planned out. He knew where the stops were.
You have to be.
I mean, you really have. Yeah, it's like planning D-Day. Yeah. Right? It's like I got to get all the way from here to there, and I got to get everything with me. But I'm just not an electric car guy. Right. Yeah. I'm just not. So you probably will never see me in an electric car unless it's forced upon me and I will be kicking and screaming. Perfectly fine with a combustible engine. And I think it's awesome. And I don't think it does any more damage to the environment than the electric car does.
Well, yeah, that's what most people have to say.
Yeah. I mean.
So then you're poo-pooing on Elon.
No. I think Elon's a genius.
Does he make gas cars or no?
First of all,
not gas cars, but he does a lot of stuff.
No one in my lifetime has caught a rocket that's landing.
Yeah.
No one. Right. The Russians. We were like, hey, we'll let the spaceship land in the ocean where it gets some kind of bounce, right? It'll come up and it'll float. The Russians let them land in a desert somewhere, right? They crash landed everything on the way back. Elon Musk's like, well, wait a minute, I can catch this thing. We don't have to go to the, we'll just catch the
smooth
rocket.
operator. I will say that.
You
was
look at
cool.
all this stuff, and that's just absolutely amazing. Plus, he has 20 kids?
Does he?
He's got 13, 12, 13.
There's a lot of names that are strange, though. I don't know.
Right. If you do the time.
For real.
Right? If you commit the crime, you can do the time, whatever the saying was. Right? So if he did all that, he names the kids. They're his kids. He's the one that spent the time making the kids. He should get the right to name the kids.
You know?
Hold on. As the only female in the room,
Wow.
his contribution was potentially 5 minutes.
I fully get that.
Potentially 5 minutes. Well, you guys don't listen to Grimes, do you? That's his first paramour, I guess. So he has a couple kids with her. Yeah.
Well, one of the last that was named.
Yeah. Very
Is that
hip.
his last wife?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Grimes.
I mean, I don't know, and I'm sure that all of them had input in one way or the other, even if it was to say, I don't like that name, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there was some of that, but
It's one of the names, I think, right?
I don't know.
all the kids can grow up to be 18 years old, be geniuses.
They can
and change their name.
They can change the name.
Yeah.
I kind of don't, not my kids, not my problem, right? It's just, I don't worry about that. That's like, I'm just not going to go there. But no, I think he's a
He's
genius.
got enough money for therapy.
Definitely. Each child could have their own therapist for each day of the week, and he still wouldn't notice it in the budget. I think he's absolutely amazing entrepreneur. I think the fact that someone asked me a couple weeks ago, why would he want to get involved with fixing the government? And I'm like, because he was sitting around somewhere, and one of his buddies said, "You realize you've done this. The only thing you can't do, Elon, is fix government."
Good.
And he's like, okay, I'm in. It's a challenge, and I'm in. He's done all this other stuff, and he's like, okay, it's a challenge.
So
I'll try
I have a theory that Donald Trump ran for president because Barack Obama made the joke at the Alfred
dinner, the press dinner, yeah,
and made the joke of one thing that I'll go down as in history for that you won't is president of the United States. And you cut to Donald Trump, and he's just got this look on his face like, bet. And that's why he ran for president. That's my theory.
Probably
because Barack Obama called him out saying
fuel
he
for
would
the
never
fire.
go down in history as a
Probably the
president.
fuel, yeah.
And so your suggestion is that's what Elon Musk did?
And Vivek, the same thing. I think they've done extremely well. If they were able to pull this off and downsize government, they would go down in history as two of the most famous people for pulling this thing off that everybody, including me, wants to see happen, but doubts that it will. Right? You're saying it's just too big. It's too gargantuan. If those two guys and whoever they hire to help get that done, if they do that, what a phenomenal gift to the next 2 or 3 generations of Americans.
Only if it lasts for longer than 4 years. I mean, Calvin Coolidge cut government like crazy. And we barely know, like, people barely know anything about him.
Yes.
Troy is not a fan of Calvin Coolidge. I think he's hilarious and I think he's great. But evidently he was a bit of a grump. The man that cut the government by like half was a grump. Who knew?
Troy doesn't like grumps.
He is one. He is one. Bobby asked, Bobby, have not been in the water lately. This is day 29. And then Saturday, I had a son that was moving. So I helped him move furniture and watch the grandson so that he and his wife could arrange furniture in their new house.
So you couldn't put the kid in the crate and just come down to the St. Augustine Youth Services, Santa's on the Loose?
I could not. There was stuff to be done and moved.
Yeah.
And
To be done!
And I had to clean up. Friday night was the anniversary of my mom passing 2 years ago. So we celebrated in her backyard. We had a fire pit. We got one of the solo stoves and we sat out and watched the sunset. Some of the neighbors came over, had a few drinks. And so I had to go over and clean all that stuff up on Saturday morning. So there was a little bit of work. So I would love to have been there. I think the St. Augustine Youth is a great, I think it's one of the best things that happens. And
almost 1,200 Santas. That was awesome. It was a wave of people. It was so much fun.
That was sea of red.
Sea of red, all your people. Yeah. There it is.
Red wave. There it was.
Hey.
That was your last big event before you head south of the border,
My last public appearance. Yes. Very good to bring that up.
Is it true?
Actually, no, tomorrow night is.
Yeah.
I have to say this with glee. I forgot that I'm on live. No, I'm doing the Nights of Lights judging with Troy tomorrow night.
Oh my God.
okay.
Is that why I see dollar bills hanging out of your back pocket?
I wish I was getting paid for this thing, but I do get a little bit of a chicken plate that I'm looking forward to.
You get dinner?
Yeah.
Rubber chicken or like
I don't
chicken?
know. I'm praying. It's Flagler College. You know more than I do.
So I have Flagler College food's good.
Yeah, okay,
They got
good.
food. You're like, so is it really true that you are Donald Trump's special envoy to Mexico?
I think
that
so.
You are just going down there to work out a trade pact?
Well, they didn't. We haven't made this official, but I can make it now on the show. I'm the official gay liaison to Donald Trump. Isn't that great? Going down to Mar-a-Lago, shining it up. No, that's why I got the spray tan so I could fit right in with him.
Of course. Perfect.
Yes.
I mean, yours is not orange enough. But...
Well, I know. I asked for the different hue, but it has to do with my pheromones.
Don't go too Oompa Loompa. Don't do Oompa Loompa. That's too orange. Don't do that.
Yeah,
you
my
look like
daughter.
Charlie Crist.
Oh,
My daughter was
that
trying
would be
on
too much.
a new foundation right before our big family Christmas over the weekend, and she comes into the bathroom all in a rush, and she's like, "Mom, do I look like Donald Trump?" And I was like, "Are you asking if your foundation is orange?" She's like, "Of course I am." Like, okay. No, it hasn't oxidized. You're fine.
That's awesome.
So I have a heartwarming story.
Okay.
Heartwarming story. So we had our big show last Thursday night. And
What a great show, by the way.
I thought it was a really fun show.
It was fun.
Super fun. Poor Lenny.
I know, poor Lenny. I had a chance to pick a business. I picked Bozard Ford, right? So I get a call or a text on Sunday from an old friend. Her son is in the military, is in town. He has a Ford truck. He has a problem with his Ford truck. He has to get back to his base. And it's Sunday afternoon. And is there any way to get him in Monday to get it fixed so he gets back to his base on time on Monday? And I said, she said, I know you know Bo and Letty. I said, I'll reach out to Bo, right? And she's thanking me. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just sending a text message to Bo, who has a big heart, who will probably take care of this for you right away.
Yeah.
And I'm sending him a number, and all of this will get resolved. But it's not me resolving it. I'm just passing a number.
You're the messenger.
I'm just a messenger. I know a guy. right?
Mhm.
So it all got taken care of. Everything got worked out today. Back to the base. Ford truck running perfect. So thanks to Bo Bozard and Bozard Ford for getting one of our service members. And it's a local young man who graduated from West Point.
Awesome.
So we're glad to have him back in service.
That is great. They have 91 service bays. So that was great that they got
Do they
one.
really have 91?
91. They could have picked 90. They picked 91. And they're
Yeah.
temperature controlled. So, like, it helps people that are working on the car, especially in the summertime. It gets hot. So, yeah, that's pretty exciting.
Have you tried doing a spin class in one of the temperature controlled
Oh,
bays?
Letty, let's go. That's going to be driven to inspire. Let me tell you about that. Yeah.
I have a theory on the 91.
Oh, what's the theory?
90.4 gave a little boost and then rounded up.
Look at that.
See?
All right. So get it,
So
904.
you should
yeah.
start saying that they have 90.4 bays.
I don't want to confuse them. I only have a couple more days. Yeah.
Just to see.
In the new year.
In the new year, the 904 year. One of the bays is used part-time for spin class.
Yes.
Do you know Letty should hire you to do spin class out there?
Would
Because
love
they
it.
have this incredible fitness program for all their employees.
Yep.
Look at me getting you one more job.
Like I do it for Old Town Trolley.
Yeah.
They just bought. They just did a giant community raffle with their cast members.
Yeah.
And they bought like a bunch of 10 class packages, and they were raffling them off, and so that was going to be fun. So yeah, bring it on, Bozard. Let's go.
I need to book the Old Town Trolley for my family. We got to do that.
You got that many coming to town? You need a whole trolley?
We got to, not like a whole trolley. I just
just
need to book
saying.
a trolley ride for my family. We do
Oh.
it every year.
I might
It's
be able
fun.
to help you. See me
Oh.
after show.
Okay.
I have a question for you guys. Since I'm about to go into this giant friend anniversary moment, we play Uno like crazy.
Okay.
Like for hours. So Uno just announced on X that it is
Because
not.
everybody announces everything on X.
Actually, that is where to make public announcements. Yes, when you're
Yes.
like major. So you cannot
Elon.
put a draw 2 on top of another draw 2.
This ruins my whole strategy when we play Uno.
Really?
Because like if you're playing with one other person, then you can just
Right.
stack
I think
'em
that's
up,
fun.
right?
Yeah.
But I'm assuming this is also so like if someone puts a draw 2 down and that person, the next person draws 2, you can't now put a draw 2 on top
Right.
of it.
You cannot.
So like you can't
Same thing
screw
with
somebody
wilds.
with just like draw 2, draw 2, draw 4. You
I
can't
love
do that. I
Those are
know.
my favorite moments.
I know. It's
So
sad.
it's almost as if the Uno people want the games to be shorter.
Right.
Right.
And not fun.
So my
I
other
think we
question
might
is,
go OG rule.
is there
Yeah.
a rule about someone puts a draw 2 down and you put reverse on it?
No.
You have
Can
to.
you
So
not
you're
put-
saying you have to draw 2.
Yeah.
Can you not put words on words? Is that basically
No,
what
it's
it is?
just the draw 2s is what
Okay.
they announced. I screenshot it. It's just
I
the,
predict this is the new Coke of Uno. It will be gone by sometime
Really?
around
Well, no
New
one's
Year's.
going to adopt this.
No.
I
no.
mean, because this is how kids learn that, like, you're going to lose in life. Is when their parent just blasts them with the whole stack of draw 2s and draw 4s. Like, life's
so
hard, kid.
fun. I love the look too. Oh, the trash talking is my favorite.
You know you want Uno when your last 4 cards are the specialty cards.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, okay, I finally got this.
it's
There's
my
a meme
favorite.
about that.
Yes, I've got this. I
my
finally have
favorite.
this. What is
There's
the
a meme where it's a dad that's...
I saw this.
It's obviously a dad hand, like it's a big
Yeah.
man hand, and he's just got a handful of draw 4s.
Yeah.
And
Like
the kid's
wild
got
draw
Uno,
4s.
right?
And the kid's got... He's putting down his second card, and he's about to yell Uno, and he's got this super excited expression, and the caption is like, where you learn that life sucks. And this kid's about to just be demolished.
I love this game. It is so
we have
brutal.
definitely done this to our kids.
I love Uno. So
Please
good.
give money to our kids' therapy funds.
All right, we only have like 8 minutes. You guys want to try to get through 5 questions? You want to hold 5
We can
questions
do
till
that.
tomorrow night?
Oh, we
You're in
can
tomorrow.
do-
Are you in tomorrow night?
Yes,
too?
I'm in
All
tomorrow
right.
night.
Drop Dead Fred tomorrow.
Oh, and we have Ancient City Roadrunner. So let's maybe want to do 5 questions.
Yeah, let's do 5. Okay. Real tree or fake tree?
Real.
I am fake tree because we had Christmas tree mites like hatch in our house. I was babysitting someone else's child, and so I had like 3 toddlers in my house, and Christmas tree mites invaded my house from our real tree, and I've never bought a real tree ever
Your
since.
dogs can't take care of that for you? Mine do.
It was thousands.
Oh my
it was
God, really? So it's a
Thousands
thing.
of little tick things falling out of the tree. And turns out Christmas tree mites lay eggs and they hatch based on temperature. And we had like a cold snap and then immediately got hot. So it got warm in our house because we still had the heat on.
So it's like a
and so it triggered
uterus.
the like spring hatching of these freaking Christmas tree mites. And
It's the worst story ever.
I hated it, and I called my husband because I'm so skeeved out by ticks, and I thought they were ticks. So I called my husband. He's at work. He has to leave work because I'm like crying because I'm vacuuming Christmas tree mites.
I bleached the tree
because I've got like kids crawling on the carpet, and there's all these bugs.
God. This is
And
horrible.
It was terrible. So we have an artificial tree. It's very nice. It's Balsam Hill. It's the same that Hallmark Channel uses. It's very lovely.
They were
fig
not
trees.
mites.
They were mites.
They were drones.
They were
You had a New Jersey tree. Just admit it. You had a New Jersey tree that was full of drones.
I took my tree back to Lightsey and I was like, you got to take this back.
Oh,
and
wow.
He
You
did
were
give
one
me
of
a
those.
refund.
Okay.
I was like, there are bugs falling out of this tree. You have to take it back. And he did take it back. And then he just resold it again. Because
don't think
by
they were-
that point, the mites were out.
The mites were gone. They were all at your house.
I don't think they're even around.
It's disgusting. So fake tree for me.
Okay. I'm a real tree only.
Of course.
The smell, the
Yes,
balsam.
real
I know.
tree only.
Yes,
Yeah.
all day
Candles.
every. Makes me sound butch.
Candles are miteless.
Baby's breath, tinsel, or nothing.
What? Added to your tree?
Added to the tree. Baby's breath, tinsel, or nothing. Amanda?
Me.
What did the mites like the best?
I hate those mites. We don't do tinsel or baby's breath. We stopped doing tinsel because we had a cat that ate it and then would vomit
there's
it
so
all
many
out.
horrible
It's
things.
terrible.
This is a horrible
It's terrible.
thing.
It's the happiest time of year, I swear. So we don't do any of that. We do garland and ornaments and lights. We don't do any of the like added. We don't even do popcorn.
I have an epic tree. And so, yeah, we're going to go tinsel because obviously, Christmas decorations is basically just drag from your house. Yeah.
It's trees and drag.
Yeah, totally.
We have done tinsel and baby's breath and nothing. Tends to be a little bit more baby's breath and nothing now. We had a very scary incident with tinsel one time.
Yeah.
So it was the star tinsel.
Microplastic.
The
Terrible.
little star tinsel, right? And Reese had gotten a hold of that, put it in his mouth. So when you're opening his mouth, right, like it would flatten out.
Mm-hmm.
But when he closed it, it was blocking his airway.
Oh.
So he was struggling to breathe. Kind of got really fortunate, was able to sweep it out.
Tinsel.
And I was like, "That's it, no more tinsel ever." That
Just
tinsel was
ruining
gone that
Christmas and never these
afternoon, man.
5 questions
Yeah.
for me. Okay, great.
Yeah. But no, you're okay.
Mites and tinsel choking.
So
When you
we
get
had
home,
lived just-
all of your mites will have choked on the tinsel. You'll be fine.
Thank God I
You'll
didn't.
be
I didn't.
okay.
Yeah,
You'll
this
be
is
good.
crazy.
That's
You'll be
the
good.
trouble. We had the cat that would
Yeah.
eat the tinsel, and then the mites wouldn't get taken out.
Favorite Christmas candy?
Favorite Christmas treat or candy?
Candy or treat?
Okay. Oh, that's easy. Fudge and sugar cookies. 100%.
I thought you were going
Fudge
to say
or
candy
sugar
corn.
cookies.
I fully thought you were going to
Oh,
say candy
shut
corn.
I love
Tony's
candy.
Chocolonely. Tony's Chocolonely Christmas collection. The milk chocolate has graham crackers in it, and then the dark chocolate has candy canes. So good. If you're nice, we'll see.
I've
what
got
happens.
another one though.
Oh.
Champagne truffles. There is a chocolatier at Rockefeller Center
Yes.
that I found when I was a
La
college student there.
Maison?
Yeah, the green
Yep.
label. Oh my god, there's champagne truffles. My mom special orders them every year,
So
that
special.
I still have champagne truffles, even though I'm not in New York anymore. Because we would always go into the city at Christmas just so we could see the tree and have champagne truffles.
So
You
special.
elitist, you.
I
I
love
love
You
that.
elitist.
I love that
Champagne's
moment.
truffles are so
Lux life.
Peanut butter cookie with the Hershey's Kiss on top.
You're such a peanut butter guy.
Melted. I am a peanut butter guy.
So what about Reese's? The trees. The
They're
peanut
okay.
butter.
They're
Yeah.
okay.
You're getting
Well,
okay on that.
you have to kind of. There's certain Reese's.
It's a different thing than a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Yeah.
Like it's a
It's
whole
more.
different
It's a more
animal.
concentrated peanut butter. Yep. We talk about this in the morning show.
The balance is different.
Yep.
And so you just have to appreciate it for what it is. It's not a Reese's peanut butter cup. It's a Reese's treat.
Right.
It's a different thing, but I love them both.
Me
So,
too.
The Reese's regular peanut butter cup, frozen, great, right? But if you go with the huge Reese's peanut butter
The big cup.
the big cup, I again think the chocolate to peanut butter ratio
It's
is
off.
not perfect. It's just
Yeah.
slightly off. And that chocolate to peanut butter ratio. Do you guys remember the ads when we were growing up?
Yeah, perfect.
No, you don't remember the ads. It would be someone walking with a candy bar and somebody walking with peanut butter open. Why? I have no idea. But they would run into each other.
Yeah.
You got chocolate in my peanut butter. You got peanut butter in my chocolate. And
yeah.
that was the ad that
The
with the
birth-
Reese's Pieces. Reese's
Before my
peanut butter.
time.
It
Yeah.
very much reminds me of the Meet Joe Black peanut butter scene.
Mm-hmm.
If you know, you know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Presents or stockings? Which is a favorite?
Oh, man.
Honey, I'm an and girl. I'm not an or girl. My husband will be
That might
like,
have been the most epic answer of ever.
Oh, that was so good. I'm to the second
my
that
husband will be
motion.
like, should we do this or this? And I'm like, and girl. I'm an and girl.
I mean, it is like we would always do like little prizes or some fun things in the stockings.
In the stocking.
Yeah.
And then presents for sure.
It was always fun. I got to tell you real quick, my dad did the biggest like gag on me on Christmas morning. I must have been like 10 or 11, but he went to Spencer's and got like a fake piece of poop. And like put it in my stocking and like and I was so super sensitive and like I was a big cry. I was crying because I was awful and I got this
Santa
like fake
pooped in your.
Sure enough, there was more for me. It was in the copy paper box behind the tree. But yeah, that was funny.
So whenever you watched
Rider.
Caddyshack and you saw the thing floating, I've seen that before Christmas.
Yeah, that's probably where my dad, he loved that movie. He loved anything Rodney Dangerfield. Yeah. Having the Baby Ruth. That's right.
Okay, because of today, what's worse driving in? Because we drove in fog this morning coming in.
Yeah.
Not horribly bad, but we're supposed to have bad fog again tonight. Fog or a thunderstorm?
What would I rather drive in?
No, what's the worst to drive in?
What's the worst to drive in?
Fog.
I'm going with the fog only because in a thunderstorm, occasionally there's lightning to show you the way.
Yeah.
Right? There's like these
And that's
brief
kinda what
kinds of
I'm
lightning.
thinking
You're
too.
like, I can occasionally see where I'm going.
Yeah.
With the fog, you're just, if you don't know the road, and you're praying some
It's
animal
winging
isn't
a
on the
prayer
road.
and
Yeah.
Jesus take the
Yeah,
wheel.
That's 100%. Yeah.
Jesus, take the wheel. It was so funny.
Yeah.
All right, I've got controversial since we went real or fake Christmas tree.
Yeah, go.
Bonus question.
Mm-hmm.
Were your Santa gifts wrapped or unwrapped?
Wrapped.
Wrapped
Yeah.
with different paper.
With different
With different,
paper.
yes,
Yeah.
with
Yes, it
different
was
paper.
never-
Yeah.
Santa Claus could never get the same paper that Mom and Dad got.
That's the
No.
He
truth.
always had a different paper.
He had a different
and
paper.
it was like a special stock just from the North Pole.
Yeah.
So that's how you knew those were Santa gifts, because that's North Pole paper, and the other paper was stuff that Mom could get at a store.
My Santa gifts were always unwrapped.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have requested that Santa bring our kids unwrapped Santa gifts. So those are the ones that are set apart. So that's why you can't go down into the living room before everybody else, because
You
the
just
Santa
didn't wanna
gifts are
wrap
just
them.
out. Huh?
You just didn't want to wrap them?
That's probably what my mom set it up that way, but I don't care. I love her for it every single day.
That was good. Yeah, absolutely.
Did you ever go looking for your non-Santa Christmas gifts before Christmas?
100%.
No.
Oh, and I got caught really bad one
No.
year. Oh, I had to get. I wanted the Nelsons, the twins, the Nelson
Yes.
brothers tape.
They were
so
books.
Bad.
They were books. They couldn't be
After
books.
the rain washes away the tears. It was so good. I wanted it so bad. So
Great
underneath.
90s song, by the way.
Oh, so
Great
good.
90s
With the
song.
blonde hair was all. I don't know if you remember. Yeah.
Blowing
so
in the wind.
I just cracked open the paper just a little bit just to see if, and sure enough, it was it. And then I put the paper back. Dad knew right away. He was like, "Nah, there's something looks wrong here." Got in big trouble. Did not get the Nelson tape. That year.
No?
No. I had to wait for Easter.
Good gracious.
Can you imagine?
It wasn't even a good song by then. It was
I know.
over.
The song was over. I had to wait till Easter. I had to get it in my Easter basket. And I was like, I'm over these guys.
That's harsh. I never went to look for Christmas presents because my mom is like super big on wanting to surprise you.
Yeah.
And so like that's like what she wants for Christmas is to surprise everyone. And so there was a moment in usually November, December where we were not allowed in her bathroom anymore.
Uh-huh.
And that was respected. That was sacrosanct. If you stepped across that threshold, then you would go up in flames.
Somebody must have stepped over that
So
threshold.
my mom thought that I had done it, and I'm sure my dad was looking for something and just like didn't remember that he moved things, because she came out of her bathroom downstairs and she's like, someone's looking for Christmas presents, and she was fit to be tied.
Really?
And I was the only one home. So I got it. You're looking for Christmas presents, you're ruining surprises. If I find out, if I catch you, you're not getting anything.
She better recognize.
And I was like, I didn't do it.
That's hot fire.
She was mad.
She's not going to get that prize from Secret Santa's workshop from the school.
Never, ever snuck a glimpse
You
for any Christmas presents ever.
You do
because that was the
understand
worst.
it's okay if you want to tell us that you were looking now. It's okay. The statute of limitations.
No, I don't think she was.
Me. It wasn't even me. I swear it was my dad looking for something because he's kind of
Always
my
blame it
dad.
on
And
dad.
he's like mongoing through the closets and he moved something. I don't even know. But it wasn't me. I swear. I would tell you right now because she's not watching. I haven't seen her pop up. I would tell you right now.
Yeah.
If it was me, it was not me. I definitely got the heat for it though.
My brother and I figured out one year there was only so many places you could hide things in our house. And so it's like, okay, we'll figure it out. And so we did. We got in trouble for it. And my mom was very upset for the same reason because she worked really hard to surprise us and we knew what the surprise was. Now, in fairness to us, there was a year we wanted something and it was not under the tree. And she let us just be disappointed for like 45 minutes before she finally let us know where it was. So in fairness to us, it was kind of like,
She
okay,
kinda got your back.
We kind of like, no, that was, I think, before we found
Was
out.
it before?
Yeah, and so we were kind of like, well, you started this, but we never did it again. And I'm one of those guys, I like surprises. So I don't want to, like if there's a movie coming out, like Drop Dead Fred, I won't watch it until the reviews come in on this show.
Tomorrow.
We had, so we hide gifts everywhere. So I've hidden gifts every place I've worked.
You ever lose
because,
them?
like, no. Because I let people know. Like,
My mom loses them. We'll get them
this is
years
my
later.
kids.
Yeah.
This is my kid's present.
No longer a medium. Thank you.
If you see a big giant plastic kitchen in the attic of the church, please don't give it to the preschool. It's for my daughter. So yeah, I hide gifts everywhere I work and at my mom's house. And in attics and all kinds of crazy places. Never have lost them yet.
Well, my mom passed away right before Christmas. Did not have all of her Christmas gifts wrapped. And she was famous for hiding all this stuff and then having to figure out where she'd hid it.
Oh, yeah.
Even though none of the grandkids lived there, she'd hide all the stuff. It was back from the day. So as we were cleaning out the house months later, we were still finding Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
We're like, yep. And then there were a couple were like, I think this was like a 2-year-old Christmas gift. This was famous 2 years ago, and she just forgot that she had it. And then in one thing, we found 2 of the same thing hidden in different places.
Oh.
We're like, she forgot she got it and couldn't remember and got another one of it. So we just kind of laughed. We're like, yep, Mom wanted us all to have all these things. So
That's very cool.
yeah. All right, so we'll see everybody tomorrow.
Yeah.
You guys are still doing the morning show.
Yes, sir.
Rocking that out. How are they going to survive on Wednesday and Thursday?
No, Wednesday I'm here. Thursday is they're going to have to buckle down, and Friday they're going to have to buckle
Thursday
down.
and Friday, chaos should rule.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't invited additional guests for Davey's seat.
Well, we did ask, and that was declined.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, it is a big seat to fill, so
Nobody
good luck to
asked
that
me.
person.
No one asked me. I wouldn't even dare to try to do that. First of all, I don't have clothes that are that colorful. So I'm already going to disappoint just in the wardrobe.
Yes, you do, Amanda.
I do.
So the thing that's going to be interesting is are they going to change the name while you're gone?
Nope, it'll be the same. It'll be the
They're not
same.
going to change it to the 9:04 Now Morning Show Grumpy Old Men edition.
Yeah, I know. I told Rick he's going to have to be the puppies and kittens part.
Grumpy
Yeah.
Old Men edition, where they're going to talk about the weather, traffic, and injuries.
Yes.
That was a Christmas movie.
Yes.
I argue that Grumpy Old Men was a Christmas movie. There's
Took
Christmas.
place during Christmas.
There's Christmas.
Actually,
yeah.
good call on that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's weird.
It's a Christmas movie.
You're kind of right. I love horror Christmas movies. I'm like obsessed with them.
Krampus. All of the
Santa's sleighs. Like it's so bad.
horror movies. I think the same person that names horror movies is the same person that names porns.
Yeah.
No.
Kind of want that job.
I think the porn one's the funnier one. So I'm just telling you, especially that list that you guys read off a couple of weeks ago.
Saving Ryan's Privates. Yeah.
That was. It's like, no, you can't read that one. No, you can't read that one. And then you throw out 2 or 3 of them, and you're like, I didn't think you could read those either.
Right.
I just can't wait to hear about Davey Does Mexico.
I can't wait either. Do you want a toilet tramp? Say. Just kidding. I'm
Do you have your own YouTube channel for this trip?
good. I do. Yes. It'll actually be on probably more of my Instagram than anything, but yeah,
Okay.
it'll be fun.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow night. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the morning show, and then tune in to the most watched show on the network in the middle of the day, the afternoon show.
So good. Bye, guys.
Bye.